This is a long question. Most people have so many ideas and want to publish a book, but rarely finish. What is the secret to writing now that you have published 4 books? I'm not sure there is an actual secret, but I think the thing that works best for me, the thing that helps me write, is just the determination and the confidence and the encouragement to finish. I'm not sure this is actually, very, very to do with writing, but I think something that puts it into perspective is when I'm at home and I'm doing housework, I will go from one room to another. And a lot of the things that I'm doing aren't finished. So, for example, I'll put the washing machine on, I'll go upstairs, I'll start tidying the bathroom, I'll come downstairs, there are so many different things that I'm doing that it's never a finished piece. But I think sometimes at the end of the day, you have to then go, well, I've done a little bit of this, I've done a little bit of that, I've done a bit of that. I now need to go back round and I need to finish what I've started. And that for me is exactly the same when I'm writing. At the very, very beginning, with Post-it notes, this sounds very, very mad, but with Post-it notes, I start to pull little ideas, little characters, little snippets of things, and I put it down on a Post-it note and I put it on a wall in my office, and they are all pieces of the puzzle that I'm kind of, pulling together. Then as I get more and more ideas, some of those pieces then start to come together and I think, that character would be quite good in chapter 1, but this happens in, say, chapter 7, and I start to build that process out. I think where people go wrong a lot of the time is they start off with an idea, but they don't actually think about where it's heading. They'll go, I'm thinking about a car crash and that leads to this and that leads to that. There's never really a journey. So when you're writing a book, start off with the beginning, the middle and the end. Where do you want things to kind of evolve and what's going to be part of that? Now, you might find that as you work your way through, some of the chapters don't flow. You might find that actually you switch chapters around. You might find that things are completely different to where you initially started the book. But I think you always have to have like a beginning, a middle and an end to everything. And that's where I think a lot of people go wrong. The other thing that I would say is, when you're writing a full book, there's roughly between 100 and 150,000 words. So it is quite a daunting journey when you're thinking, gosh, I've got to write 150,000 words. Where do I start? What do I do? Don't think of it as like a big 150,000 word essay or like a document that you're writing for a university project. You've got to break it down into individual pieces and then pull it all together. So I think that is a big, big secret to actually finishing something. If you actually look at the statistics, 90% of people want to write a book. So probably everybody that you speak to out there wants to write a book of some description. 5% of those 90% of people start to write, and then 5% of those 5% actually finish it. So if you actually look at the amount of books out there and the amount of people that do start this journey, most people get halfway through and just give up. So, I wouldn't say it's a secret, but I think the thing that works for me is start to plan it out, start with little snippets of things that you want to happen in the book, pull all your ideas together, have a start. Where is it going to start? Make sure that your first chapter is the most dramatic, draw people in. It's got to be something that people go, oh, wow, well, what happens? What is the secret? Where is this journey taking us? There needs to be a sort of a middle to bring you back into, well, okay, how is this going to look? And then the end piece is almost okay, I think this could be the really dramatic piece. This is where I would like to see it finish. And if it changes along the way, if you write some chapters that you're not so happy with, if it's not been a good writing day, it doesn't matter. You can go ahead and change it. But the secret really is this is going to be my goal. And I think that the other really important piece, actually, just to kind of put in there, is that set your self expectations in terms of timeline. The average writer takes 6 to 9 months sometimes to write a book, and that's if they're doing it, actively. other people, it's taken them 2, 3, 4 years to produce the content. So actually think about how much time can I dedicate consistently every week to producing a good book that somebody is going to want to read, to pick up and follow through, and then pull that expected timeline together, and then think of when do I actually realistically want to release this book. And don't rush it. I think a lot of people put so much emphasis on, I've got to release it in 2 months, and then it becomes more of a chore. You don't get that enjoyment out of writing it. So set yourself some really expected timelines that you can hit, start, middle, end, and then just pull all of those ideas together, and I'm sure you'll create something really, really exciting and worthwhile reading.